Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Julie. On today's video, we have 30 Christmas thrift flips under $5. But there's a catch. I am doing this video in collaboration with two other lovely ladies. So me and you, we are gonna do 10 thrift flips. Then you're gonna head over to Sherry's channel at Canterbury Cottage. If you love traditional farmhouse decor, you are gonna love Sherry's channel. Then you're gonna hop over to Teresa's channel at Our Green Acres. And if you love shabby chic with a southern twang, I know you are gonna love Teresa's channel. I hope y'all are as excited about this collaboration as I am. Both of these ladies love thrifting and they love doing thrift flips. So if you enjoy the content on my channel, I think you will also enjoy the content on their channels. Now, we have 10 thrift flips to do, so we better get to work.
We are going to be using this thrifted sweater for 3 different projects. Do not forget when you're out thrifting and garage sailing to look at the clothing, because you can find some very inexpensive pieces that you can use as fabric for your projects. I'm going to start with the biggest project first. I'm just going to use my fabric scissors and cut right under the neckline of this sweater. I'm going to be using, I think it's a hat box that I thrifted a while back. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but it is very big and I think it will be perfect to put a Christmas tree in. I love the little coffee mug sweaters that I've been seeing people making. I think it's just such a cozy, warm winter look. And I thought, why not do that with this piece that I'm going to turn into a Christmas tree box? So I simply just put the sweater over the box, and now I'm just trying to figure out how I want it to look. And you can definitely change it up with the type of sweater you decide that you want to use. I just went with a simple white for a kind of white Christmas look. I decided I liked it better with the sweater covering up most of the box, with just a little bit of the box showing at the top and the bottom, and I just folded over the top of the sweater to cover up that raw hem. This definitely gives me that warm, cozy Christmas feeling that I was going for, and I think that you could take any piece around your house that you wanted to put a Christmas tree in and add a sweater to it, and that way you're not destroying the piece, you're just adding something to it that makes it perfect for Christmas that you can remove after the holidays. Now we're going to use the sleeves of the sweater. I want to create a long hanging pouch, something that kind of feels like a stocking, but it's not a stocking, something that you could put, longer branches, pieces of greenery in, and just create a very cute little winter hanging piece. So I've cut the sleeve off, and now I'm just rolling over the edge of the sleeve, and I'm going to glue the bottom together to create a pocket, so that way whatever we put in will not fall through the bottom. And now I'm going to roll over the top, and I want to hide those raw edges. So I'm just going to hot glue and then roll over the raw edges, just creating a clean hem, and then I'm going to roll it over again. I want to keep my piece long, so I'm not going to roll it over too much, but this is personal preference. If you wanted your hanging piece to be shorter, you could definitely roll it over more or roll it over a few times. Now I'm going to create a hanger using some red velvet ribbon that I have. I love the vibrancy of this ribbon against the texture of the sweater. I'm not going to cut an opening in the sweater. I just simply weeded the ribbon through the little openings that are already in the sweater, and I'm going to do that on each side of the piece and just tie it off to hold it in place. I made 2 of these since I had 2 sleeves and just used different length ribbon to have them hanging at different heights. I absolutely love how these came out and think they would look great hanging in any room in your house, just to add a little bit of that touch of cozy Christmas. And I think some smaller ones would be so cute as ornaments on a Christmas tree. Now I'm going to cut out a little strip around the neck of the sweater, and then I'm going to take this little Christmas tree that I have. It's okay as is, but I think if I just hot glue this little piece of sweater around it, it will definitely cozy it up, give it lots of character, and make it go with the other little cozy Christmas decor that I am making. I decided to just hot glue my sweater to the tree, but you could definitely just make a pocket that goes over the base of the tree. And then if you want to go with a different theme next year, you could simply just remove it. How adorable and easy was that project? Actually, all of these projects. So I hope I've shown you a way to create a cohesive collection of holiday items for your home, just using a very inexpensive thrifted sweater. This light fixture I actually just removed from the foyer in my house, and I kept it because I knew I could use it for another project. This project is inspired by Sherry at Canterbury Cottage, because if you watch her channel, you know that she loves using lanterns not only in her thrift flips, but in her own personal home decor. The first thing I need to do is remove the electrical and take the lamp apart. If you just keep unscrewing everything, eventually the whole piece will come apart, and then we're going to keep the pieces that we want. I just want to keep the top of this piece, and I was hoping that this rod would be long enough to screw the top back down to the base of it, but it was not. So I'm just screwing the top all back together, and I'm going to use hot glue to attach the two pieces together. Now I want to paint the lantern white. I'm going to be using chalk paint. I'm going to put 2 good coats of chalk paint on here, and I'm going to be careful not to get too much on the glass, but I'm not really concerned with it because it is really easy to clean chalk paint off of a glass using a wet paper towel and a razor blade. And if some of it comes off when I am cleaning it, that is also no big deal because we are going for a distressed look on this piece. I absolutely love how this lantern cloche came out. You could make a wooden base for it or put it on top of a plate. I decided to put it on top of a book and style it with some Christmas trees and some red berries and add in a little tea light, and it just gives me all of the winter wonderland warm cozy vibes that I am going for. And it is something that I can use year round and just change out the decor inside of the piece to go with the current season. I thrifted this paper towel holder, and I just loved all the lines and the spindle on it. I knew I would find the perfect project to use this for. I brought the piece outside and sprayed it with white chalk paint using my spray gun. And once it was dry, I distressed it using 220 grit sandpaper and a baby wipe. I definitely wanted to bring out all the details in this spindle. Now I'm going to take this little hook. I ordered these off of Amazon. They come in black, but this one I had already painted white. You could definitely attach it to your piece ahead of time and spray it with the whole piece. This hook comes with tiny little screws, so you definitely want to pre-drill your holes. So I just marked them with a pencil, and now I'm pre-drilling them before I screw them in using a screwdriver. I am definitely trying to pare down my Christmas decor, so I'm going to take one of my year-round mini eucalyptus leaf wreaths, and I'm going to make it work for Christmas, just simply adding in these red berries. I love just adding in these red berries to all my decor. You can purchase a big pick of them and just pull them apart, and that is exactly what I did. And that is a simple way to turn your year-round decor into something that works for Christmas. And then you don't have to store it. You just simply pull off the red berries after Christmas and you're done. This paper towel holder now works perfectly as a mini wreath hanger to be used not only for Christmas but for year around. I styled it on my nightstands because it's tall and skinny and doesn't get in the way, but adds just a little bit of decor and greenery that this space needed. I thrifted this sled for a couple of dollars. I really like the shape of it, how it was long and skinny, and I like that it was red. That way when I painted it white and distressed it, that red would come back through. The first thing I need to do is remove all the wooden pieces on top so I have a nice flat surface to work with. I sanded down the top, then brought it outside and painted it with white chalk paint using my sprayer. Even though I sanded down the top, you could still kind of see the glue where those little wooden pieces are. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cover that up. I have this piece of 5mm underlayment, and I'm going to just use the sled as a template. I'm going to trace it out, and then I'm going to cut it out with my jigsaw. And it fits perfectly on top of my sled. Since I had to cut out a new piece of wood, I just decided to go with the two-tone look, but I definitely want to age this new piece of wood. So I'm gonna be using the Waverly Antiquing Wax and Water mixture. You just paint it on and let it dry, and it makes your brand new wood look old and aged and exactly like I love my wood to look. While my wood is drying, I'm going to finish up the sled. So I want to distress it and bring back some of that red that is underneath the white. So we're going to have white, we're going to have some red, and we're going to have some natural wood tones. It looks like at one point there was a little rod or something right here that is no longer on the piece. So I'm just going to drill a hole through the whole thing, and I'm going to use that pretty red velvet ribbon that I've been using on my other projects to create a hanger for this sled. I also want to add some Christmas greenery to this piece. So just using 3 sprigs of greenery and some jute twine. I'm just going to tie them together and then tie it to the sled. Now I'm going to attach the wooden piece to my sled. I'm using hot glue, but you could also use super glue or wood glue. When I purchased this piece, I thought it would look really good hanging on one of the hooks in my entryway since it is so long and skinny, and that's what I really loved about it. So I thought it would be so cute to hang some of my family's Christmas pictures. So I'm gonna add 3 little hooks so I could have these pictures hanging up in my entryway. I am so happy that I ended up having to replace the top on this piece. I love how the natural wood looks with the white and the red coming through. It will look perfect in my home for Christmas and the perfect spot to put my kids' Christmas pictures. And it will be really easy to replace the picture when I force them to take their matching PJ Christmas picture with Santa this year. One of my favorite things to thrift is vintage kitchen items. I just love using that sort of stuff in my home decor. I was so excited to find these vintage cookie cutters, and I thought they would look great just with a piece of baker's twine. So that way I could hang them up anywhere in the house or on a Christmas tree. I just love that it's becoming popular to have a tree in every room in the house, and how cute would it be to have a tree in your dining room or in your kitchen just filled with vintage baking items like these vintage cookie cutters, maybe some utensils, maybe some jello molds. I just think that would look so great. I'm definitely gonna have to thrift some more kitchen items so I can fill up an entire tree. Not only do these look great as a collection hanging on a tree, but they also look good alone if you have a hook in your kitchen or maybe a knob on a piece of furniture in your dining room, just to add a little touch of vintage Christmas character to your space. If you love to decorate, you definitely need to be on the lookout for these little hanging baskets at the thrift store. They are so great not only for the holidays, but for year around. This basket is definitely outdated though, so the first thing we're going to do is remove the little wire and the heart, and then we're going to take it outside and spray it with chalk paint using our spray gun. If you do not have a paint sprayer, I recommend spray paint. It is so much quicker to paint a basket this way than trying to brush the paint on. Once the paint is dry, I'm going to distress the piece to bring back some of that natural wood color. Now we are ready to accessorize the basket. I'm going to be using this tea towel from IKEA. I love these. They are only 79 cents and I use them all over my house at Christmas time. Last year after Christmas, I bought a ton of these tiny little Christmas trees, and I have no doubt I will be using them all over my house as well. I'm going to add in some different greenery just for added layers and texture. And then for the smell, I'm going to add in some cinnamon sticks. Then to hang it, I'm going to add that beautiful red velvet ribbon. You can hang this basket anywhere in your home, but my idea was to hang them on the back of my dining chairs. I think this is such a sweet vintage look, and I will be thrifting more of these little hanging baskets so I can have one on every single one of my dining chairs. I'm not worried about them being the same size as long as they're a little hanging basket that I can fill with greenery, tea towels, and cinnamon. We are going to be using this piece of wood, this crib spindle, and this embroidery hoop. I see these embroidery hoops all the time at the thrift store to create something inspired by one of Teresa's videos. In her last thrift haul, she thrifted this piece. She didn't know what it was, and I don't know what it is either, but I fell in love with it, and I really want to try to recreate this piece. I'm just marking my spindle to see where I need to cut it. I need it to come about halfway up on the embroidery hoop. I went cut my spindles down on my miter saw. Now I'm just measuring where I need to put holes in all my pieces so I can attach them all together. To attach the embroidery hoop to the spindle, I'm going to use this little screw and this little nut. I really wanted a wing nut. I thought it would be more dramatic, but I could not find one. So I'm just going to use a drill bit that's a little bit bigger than my screw. That way everything will come together very easily. I'm going to drill a hole on the top of my spindles and then on the center sides of my embroidery hoop. I've never made this before, so you may have better ideas on how to put this together, but this is what I came up with. I need to attach the spindles to the bottom base of this piece, so I'm going to apply some wood glue and then put both the spindles on. You want to make sure that the holes that you drilled are facing the correct way when you do this, and then I like to let my wood glue dry for 30 minutes. That way everything stays in place, and then I can easily turn it over and add a brad nail to each spindle. I want to create some artwork to put inside the embroidery hoop. So using the IOD typesetting stamp, I'm going to spell out joy, and then I'm going to use the alpha belly stamp to just embellish the word a little bit. And then I'm going to use my thin mount. I just want to pick up the J, the Y, and the alpha belly. I'm going to be stamping my image on a white flour sack tea towel, and I'm going to use the IOD ink in the color tomato. So I'm just going to ink up my stamps, and then I'm going to apply the stamp to my fabric. Your IOD stamps come with something called a mask. So it's this little clear thing that is the same size as your stamp, and you're going to apply it over the stamp, and then we are going to stamp our O on top of it, and that is going to make it look like the O is behind this little bow. Oh my gosh, how cute is that? I love it. Now we are just going to put our flower sack artwork into the embroidery hoop, tighten it up, and then I'm going to turn it over and just cut off all the excess. So I forgot to line up my holes on the embroidery hoop. So what I'm doing is I'm taking an X-Acto knife and trying to cut away at the fabric. That way I can drill a hole through it, because if you have ever put a drill bit through fabric, you know it just spins around the drill bit. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to try to cut it away and then very slowly drill a hole through the other side of my embroidery hoop. Luckily, this worked out perfectly and I had no issues and it did not mess up my artwork. I decided that I did not want to paint this piece. I wanted it to have a natural antique age look. So I'm going to be applying the watered down antiquing mixture to the entire piece. And once the wood is dry, I'm going to attach my embroidery hoop to the spindles using that little screw and that little bolt. Alright guys, y'all let me know in the comments down below if you think that I did a good job recreating this piece. I love it. I think it looks so vintage and so cute, and the artwork is not permanently attached to the piece, so it is something that I can change out for the holidays if I want to. I thrifted this vintage bait bucket and I immediately fell in love with it. That galvanized aged patina, the holes in it, And when it is around Christmas time, my immediate thought is everything with a hole in it needs a Christmas tree. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. But first, I'm going to put some tea lights in it because with all these little holes, I think that would just be so adorable and definitely give off those cozy Christmas vibes. To accessorize this little tree, I'm going to be using these strips of drop cloth and just tie it into the tree. Drop cloth is something that I use all over my home, so I like to use it in my Christmas decor as well, so it ties into the decor in the rest of my home. I'm also going to be using strips of the red velvet ribbon. I always pick one ribbon to use every year and use it on lots of different projects, so that way all my pieces feel like a cohesive collection. I love using galvanized buckets in my Christmas decor, especially for outside since it's already aged and you don't have to worry about it getting messed up in the weather. And this bucket is just extra cute with all these little holes in it.
I hope y'all enjoyed today's video and has really gotten y'all into the Christmas spirit. Please leave a comment below and let me know what was your favorite project. And do not forget to head on over to Sherry's channel at Canterbury Cottage and Teresa's channel at Our Green Acres and see what they did with their $5 thrift lips. I know y'all gonna love all the content on these two lovely ladies' channels. Y'all have a great day and I will see y'all in the next video.